The next chapter is about to begin. Join us live every Tuesday and Thursday for brand new episodes of the American Contractor Show. Our mission is to bring you the latest tools, innovations, and knowledge to help you become the most informed contractor in your market. Knowledge is the ultimate power, and we are connecting you with the most knowledgeable minds in our industry. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. American Contractors, I hope you're ready. This one's for you.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. So if you haven't already checked out our sponsor, you saw them in the ads, go check out our friends of the show, C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and Art of the Supplement Balance Claims. They help us make these videos possible, and they're awesome, so go ahead and check them out. And with that, jumping into our weather stories of the day. So we're seeing scattered storms today through the Mississippi Valley area. And then in tomorrow, we're looking at all risks possible all the way from Louisiana through the southeast and onto the east coast. So going to be quite an active day for a lot of areas tomorrow. And then finally, like we've been talking about, make sure to visit us. Come say hi at Win the Storm. We are at booth 618. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here. So here is our Win the Storm graphic. Go ahead and check out Derek's breakout session. It's called Size Really Doesn't Matter. New tech focusing on hail impacts, not max size. You guys know how sometimes there's small hail that impacts lots of areas in a lot more damaging of ways than larger hail. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens. So Derek is going to be talking about the difference in hail sizes and how that impacts certain areas. So we are going to be there March 31st through April 2nd. So that is tomorrow through this Friday. So make sure to come and say hello. Booth 618. We're looking forward to meeting some of you guys. And then into this week's weather. So here's our future jet stream. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. We have this trough that's starting to move eastward across the U.S. right now. And right now it's a little bit more shallow than I would like to see for some severe thunderstorms going on. We will get some severe activity from this, but probably not a widespread outbreak just because we like to see those really deep digging troughs. Right now it's a little shallow. This is going to be at noon today. And then that is going to, or actually tomorrow, time is getting ahead of me, but that's tomorrow at noon, and then it's going to start digging a little bit further south as it pushes eastward. So unfortunately, we're not going to see that deep digging trough right in the center of the U.S. and giving it time to create all those crazy severe thunderstorms we like to see. It's going to take its time digging farther south, and we're going to see that moisture return coming off of the eastern end of it as it moves east. But that's going to kind of happen too late as this trough speeds across the eastern part of the U.S. So nothing crazy with this one. However, we will still see some severe weather associated with that. And then by this weekend, it's going to move off of the east coast, and we're going to be back to dry conditions waiting for our next round of severe weather. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the current temperatures, and I want to show you this on a map so you can really see that cold front that's sitting through the central part of the U.S. right now. So we're 28 in Denver, pretty chilly, all the way down to 82 in Miami, and we're sitting in the 60s and 70s through most of the Mississippi Valley and central U.S. part of the country right now. 71 in Dallas, 78 in New Orleans. And like I said, you can see that cold front sitting through the central parts of the plains right now, and that is waiting to move through along with that trough that's pushing eastward. Then for our current dew points, that's going to be crucial to tonight's storm development. We do see some moisture return happening as that trough pulls up that warm, moist air out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's what we want to see right now. And we are starting to get a little bit of moisture in Little Rock, Jackson, New Orleans, even in Dallas. That's where our risk is going to be for today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we are sitting at some decent dew points throughout the afternoon and into this evening. So that's going to be what we're looking at for today, and that's going to help fuel those storms into this evening. And now for our forecast CAPE. If you guys are new to us and don't know what CAPE is, it stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, and that just basically means how much energy is available in the air for that hail and those severe thunderstorms to feed off of. We really like to see high CAPE values if we want to see any hail development with these severe thunderstorms. So right now, we are looking at some pretty decent CAPE values by this evening, 5 p.m. We're seeing a little pocket of higher CAPE values through the eastern part of Texas and Louisiana. Then as we move into a little past midnight, we're going to see that band start to move northward. A lot of that is with that moisture return from that trough. That CAPE is going to follow, and we're going to see those high CAPE values all the way from the Dallas area up into Memphis and past Little Rock. And so that's, again, what that hail likes to feed off of. However, on the converse, we have SIN values, which is what inhibits that hail from forming and those severe thunderstorms from forming. So this blue is going to be our cap, or our SIN values. So we've got our cap forming here in the atmosphere through the central part of Texas, and you can see it really kind of sits through the central part of Arkansas and Mississippi, and that's going to decrease as those storms happen. So it's going to hold long enough for those storms to kind of hold back a little bit and get that energy throughout the day. And then as the cap erodes, you're going to start to see those storms blow up through the Arkansas and Louisiana area. However, here's my problem with our Dallas storms into today. So we do have this cap eroding through the Arkansas and Louisiana area. However, through Dallas, it looks like it's going to kind of stay held throughout the day. We're looking at this Dallas cap that is going to linger throughout the afternoon and evening, and then we'll start to get these storms forming throughout the evening. However, that's after we've lost that surface heating and that daytime heating, so I'm not thinking those storms are not going to be as strong through the Dallas area because of that cap holding. So right now, we have this central part of the Mississippi Valley that's looking pretty good for some severe thunderstorms. We've got that high CAPE value, we've got that cap hanging on throughout the early part of the afternoon, and then into the evening, it's going to erode, helping those storms blow up. Dallas, if you guys can break that cap by the afternoon, that's when we could start to see some severe storms develop in your area, but it's really going to be contingent on whether that cap can hold throughout the afternoon. So then, looking into our future radar. So this is the same thing, it's just without the cap to be cluttering things. So we're going to start to see those storms developing through the Mississippi Valley here by the early afternoon, 3 p.m. there. And then there's going to be some isolated thunderstorms starting to develop through southern Louisiana and into Arkansas. And so that's when we want to see that hail, is those isolated storms. Those can get rotating, and that can help that hail to form, suck up into those storms, and then drop some large hail. So that's what we like to see, is those isolated storms for hail. And then we've got this band of storms that's going to start to move through Arkansas and through Oklahoma. So then into the evening, we're going to see that band start to push southeastward into Arkansas, and that's going to kind of collect some of those thunderstorms along with it as it moves in. So we're going to try to stay isolated for as long as we can through that area and start getting those hailstorms moving through. However, as soon as this band pushes southeastward and starts to gather up those storms along with it, they become organized into a band, and that starts pushing its way southeast through Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama as a band of storms, and that's when we're going to get that wind risk along with that. So here's our hail forecast that we're looking at today. So we talked a little bit about the cap, the CAPE values, and that's kind of where we're getting this area of low to moderate chances of at least $1 to $1/2 sized hail. Told y'all yesterday we're not really expecting just $1 to $1/2 sized hail. There could be some larger hailstones in the northern part of Louisiana and Mississippi, where those Cape values are high. We're getting lots of that moisture return, lots of that stuff that's prime for storms. However, it's going to depend on if those storms can stay isolated long enough for us to get those larger hail values. So right now we're looking at a minimum of $quarter to $half sized hail all the way from Memphis, Tennessee into Dallas, Texas. I am including you guys in the risk for today, but like we talked about, it's going to be very conditional and likely just $quarter to $half sized hail for you guys. Although now that I said that, you'll probably get something larger. So your fingers, do your hail dances. You might get something, so I'm putting you in the risk for hail today. However, remember that that is conditional. The more surefire areas of some severe hail into this afternoon and evening are going to be Shreveport, Little Rock, all the way over into the Memphis and Jackson areas. Again, you guys are on the edge of that risk as well. However, Shreveport, Little Rock, and the central part of this area is where we're going to see those storms start to develop best. And that's where I'm going to put you guys at a moderate risk for at least $quarter to $half sized hail. And again, in this area is where we could get some larger values. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about our wind and tornado forecast for the day. So it's kind of the same area here. We're looking at Dallas all the way up into Nashville area, Tennessee. I believe Nashville is about in central Tennessee, but at least to Memphis, we're going to get those wind risks moving through the Mississippi Valley area. And so zooming in a little bit, here is our city forecast. We've got Dallas, again, low end, conditional chance of wind, likelier that you will see some gusty winds. However, up into Little Rock and Memphis, again, that's where we're going to see our better chance of some gusty winds along with that band of storms that's going to form. South Carolina, we're getting to you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned. We're going to talk about South Carolina looking into tomorrow as this band progresses eastward. But right now, we've got this band of storms that's going to set up into this afternoon and evening, push southeastward, and we're going to get a wind risk through this area. Then into tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're looking at. So here's our forecast dew points. Like you guys know, we'd like to see that moisture return for that hail. We've got plenty of it through the southeast here. So lots of moisture that's being pulled up by that trough that's going to continue to deepen and dig as it moves eastward. We get that dry air through the western part of the U.S. here as that pushes eastward. So we're going to get that compact area that's going from very dry to very moist. And so that's going to be where our dry line is. And we've got one setting up here and then kind of another bow of it setting up here. And this is where we're going to see our best storm chances as that dry line tightens up and then pushes off of the east coast by Thursday afternoon. Looking into the future radar for tomorrow, you can kind of follow along with that dry line. So that was that first bow is these storms down here. And then we get the second band of storms that are going to push eastward along with that dry line as, like I said, a band. So we're not seeing a whole lot of isolated storms. There is going to be a hail risk for tomorrow with a couple of these clusters. However, it's mostly going to be a wind risk. Tomorrow's going to be a very windy day, all the way from Louisiana up into North Carolina and parts of Virginia as this band continues to push eastward with that cold front and with that dry line. So you can see a really clear, organized band of storms here that's going to push through the southern part of Alabama into Georgia and then South Carolina. There you go. We've got that band of storms that's going to push eastward through that region, bringing mostly wind gusts, probably some small hail with it. I'm thinking it's going to mostly stay below severe thresholds. However, these bands like to surprise us, so we might get some $quarter to $half in with that. And then as the evening pushes forward, we're going to move that off of the coast, and we should, like I said, be in the clear for a few days. We're going to be sitting in a ridge, which basically just means lots of stable air for us for the next few days. And so this is going to be kind of our last shot at severe thunderstorms for a little while. So here's our hail forecast for today, or for tomorrow, sorry. We've got our hail risk extending all the way from Louisiana here up into North Carolina. We could see little cells embedded here and there in that band of thunderstorms. And with that, we could see any $quarter to $half sized hail along this region. So down here in Mobile, Alabama, that's where we're going to see our best chance at hail because we're getting all that nice moisture return coming up from the Gulf, lots of dry air intersecting that moist air, cold front interacting, lots of instability down there. So Mobile, you could see a better chance at some isolated storms since you're on the tail end of that band. And with those isolated storms, you could see some $1/4 to $1/2 size hail along with that. Birmingham, and then up into Charlotte, North Carolina. You could see some $1/4 to $1/2 size hail in there as well. However, I think you are mostly going to be looking at a severe wind risk with that band that passes through. Speaking of which, here's our wind forecast for tomorrow. So all the way, like I said, from Louisiana up into North Carolina. So Jackson, Birmingham, we're going to see low-end chances of wind on the southern end of that band since it kind of breaks up a little bit as it moves south. So that's going to be where we're going to see a better chance of hail through Jackson and Birmingham, but we're not discounting a severe wind gust or two. Then once we push up into Atlanta and into Charlotte, we're going to see a moderate chance of some severe and damaging winds through the eastern part of the southeast. So all the way from Georgia up into Virginia, we're going to see that chance for some severe winds with those bands of storms pushing through before it moves off of the coast. So that's what we're looking at for the next couple of days. Do your hail dances, because like I said, this will be our last chance for a little bit here, but we are quickly moving into the spring. Things are rapidly increasing here. We've had a very active couple of weeks here, and so we're expecting that trend to continue into April, May, June, July. We're going to have a busy year for you guys. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure to hit See First on Facebook if you haven't already. And that'll help make sure that you never miss our live videos. Subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, smash that button. Make sure that you're following us during the severe weather season. And then if you're looking to contact us, you can do that at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you would rather at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website for more details at hailtrace.com. And we will be back tomorrow to update you guys on what we are looking at for that wind and hail risk in the southeast. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers. Thanks for watching.